Hi guys, my name is Vincent, I'm a media composer, and today I would like to talk to you about Vienna Symphonic Library's latest flagship brass section instrument, Synchron Brass. So first, a bit of a backstory. Last summer, one day I was scrolling on my Facebook feed and I saw this contest from VSL. They were giving away Synchron Brass for free. And I was like, okay, why not? Here goes nothing. So I made my day, everything went absolutely normally, and at the end of the afternoon I saw that I won the contest. Okay. Yeah, a new Brass library to try. Well, okay, let's go for it. And boy, I just had no idea at the time about what I was about to find. It has been, in my workflow as a composer, a complete game changer. And so that's why I thought it was relevant to make a review. Of course, it's not the first review of Synchron Brass, there are many already on the internet, and it won't be a detailed either. I will just play for you guys all the sounds that I can, and also to show you guys the main features that, for me, changed my way of working as a composer. So, without any further ado, let's dig in. So first, a word about the Synchron player. The Synchron player is the native player coming from VSL to the entire Synchron series, and first we have to notice that it's really nice and intuitive. For instance, on the perform page you can see all the CC automation that can be triggered with your MIDI controller. In the control you can even change them and change their curve, their value, their behavior here. On the edit, and that's very useful when you're dealing with short notes and marcatos, you can here stretch them and really give the marcatos your desired length. And here on the mix section, you can choose whether you have the standard or full library, the microphones you would like to use. With EQ already, with pan, and of course with the levels, and it's also very nice, already pre-made mixer presets. So here, let's have a quick look at the different sections that we got. Trumpet 1, 2, 4 players, 6 players, French horn 1 and 2, 6 players, 12 players, tenor trombone, bass trombone, timbasso, bass tuba, tenor trombone, 4 players, 9 pairs of trombones, the low brass section, and the giant tutti brass of 28 players. As you can see, every section comes in different flavors, the Vel XF sus, the Vel XF, and the velocity. And this has to see for the kind of control you want of your instrument. For instance, the Vel XF sus is the preset I use the most because the velocity crest fading is used with CC1 automation, as you can see over here. And for the short notes, the velocity is just coming out of the keystroke velocity. And now let's have a closer look to every instrument Synchron Brass got. The key switches are extremely intuitive and quite easy to see on your keyboard. Staccato are super epic, this one. And also you can hear that every attack is different, even with the staccato short. You can have already a very nice sounding repetitive staccato. Staccato long. Extremely nice. Also, staccatos come in both flavors, bold and agile, to do more fast passages. Yeah. Portatos also in bold and agile. Let's try the bold one. Quite Beethoven, don't you think? Same in portato long. Yeah. More solemn, more majestic. Now, for the long notes, you have the type of long notes you want and also the type of vibrato you would like your trumpet to have. Also sprach Zarathustra. And here also you can hear the reverb that is included in the Synchron player, the reverb of the Synchron Stage Vienna, which is a super nice feature. You can choose the type of vibrato, con vibrato. And also you have a crossfade velocity with the CC20. Senza vibrato, up to with vibrato. In terms of legato, you can have different type of speed, and also with vibrato and the crossfade vibrato. I would like it without vibrato. Just right out of the box, it sounds great. I mean, the fortissimo legato are like just ultra epic for film music. You put some French horns with that, you have a great wall of brass sound. Now for the dynamics, extremely interesting. You have already recorded realistic dynamics out of the brass instrument. And the brass section of the orchestra is the one that can do dynamics just like really, really easy. Fortissimo. Yeah. Very nice. Forzato. Less marked than the sforzatissimo, then the crescendo long. You can even choose your length. It comes quite handy. Yes, so for instance, it's super rewarding. Crescendo soft, if you want a smaller crescendo, diminuendo, strong on soft too, with options of duration and vibrato. Flutter tongue, when you put the tongue in the mouthpiece to try to make this sound like the woodwinds. Yeah. That's super nice. Also with marcato. Yeah. With the half tone trill. Yeah. Also quite realistic. Yeah, you can hear. The trill have a millisecond to start. The whole tone. Also here, available for trumpet 1 and 2. Fast repetitions. Here, you just select the tempo that you are in. For example, I will take the 120 BPM. And here, you can choose the way you want your repetition to end. If you want to end with a ringing sound, or you want it to be just cut when you release the key. It sounds very well just with the ringing, and then here, it stops. So I would prefer, depending on the tempo, thinking with a ringing end. Same controls for the trumpet too, so let's see how 4 trumpets can stand together. Long notes con fortissimo. Yeah, I love it. Ba-ba! Also, a very nice feature that has been implemented in Synchron Brass for the first time was the timbre adjust. It means that you are not touching to the level of your sound. It's not the velocity that is here. Here, I'm really touching about the intensity of the sound, if I wanted fortissimo or piano. But with the timbre adjust here, without losing the strength, the power of your sound, you can change the color of it. This is quite an original feature VSL got us here. You see here, softer timbre, but still fortissimo. So this is typically a soft fortissimo. But if I want more copper, more brass, I put it like that. So now the 6th trumpet. Is that more epic than 4? Yes, quite a bit. Let's try the fast repetition for them. Here also you can hear the color of the whole. Speechless, just speechless. Now I'll have a lot of pleasure to talk about the next type of instrument, and it's not because I'm French. I'll talk about the French horn, one of my most favorite instruments in the orchestra. So same here, it has the same kind of controls that for the trumpets. And here, especially on this kind of instrument, it might be interesting to have a look at the type of mixer presets. For example, here we have the regular legato, and also you have the outer speed legato, depending of the way you play with the velocity here on your keyboard. Synchron Brass detects if it needs a normal legato transition or a more faster one. For example, you see speed here, so it's regular. But if I play faster, here the fast option is enabled. And also here, just for fun, let's have a look at the mixer presets. And one of the mixer presets I like the most is the soaring. The soaring is like when the French horn is having, you know, this type of heroic solo just above the entire orchestra. So let's have some fun in this. Nice reverb. For very nostalgic passages, it works just fantastically. Then, for the con fortissimo here, we are really going into some heroic stuff. You hear that? The seamless transition between the more brassy sound of the fortissimo and the softer release when we come back in some mezzoforte, piano, pianissimo. It's extremely well done. A thing that don't have the trumpets but have the horns, the two of them are the rips. You know this type of salvage octave jumps? Yeah. And also, as always, I repeat myself, but the reverb of the synchron stage, incredible. Now you have the horn number 2, so here is the tip that I used. A normal sized orchestra has 4 horn players, so typically how I write divisé for the horn section using Synchron Brass is just for the horn number 1. I'm not talking about the legato. Legato is just for one voice only, but if I need to write for 4 different horn voices, I am usually using the horn 1, for example, short notes or long notes for the horn 1 and 3, which are the ones that usually plays the high pitches in the orchestra, and for the horn 2, I'm using for the horn 2 and 4, the ones that are playing the lower ranges in the horn section of the orchestra. Now, let's dive in some a bit of epicness. We have the 6 players and the 12 players. No, for the 6 players. 6 players is typically for this kind of heroic theme that, you know, cuts through your entire mix, that cuts through the entire orchestra. It is so rewarding out of the box. I mean, like, the instruments gives you a lot of pleasure just going around it. The Expressivo patch, when available, is also extremely interesting because here you can really hear the 6 horn making a sweet phrase that is giving a bit more air during the sound. You can hear the sound develop. For softer passages and to bring out even more realism, this is extremely useful. Dynamics in horns are, like in the trumpets, extremely efficient. Yeah! Fast repetitions. Normally, 6 horns playing that fast should result in a kind of a blurry attack. But here, it's perfectly clear. The guys of the Synchron Orchestra just make a tremendous work. And now guys, let's open our geek side, let's open the gates of the blockbuster colors, and let's talk about the holy 12 horn section. The biggest one, the epicness defined, like legato con fortissimo on this one. You're just like being John Williams or Alan Silvestri going around Star Wars and Avengers. you're blown away. And even if on top of that you bring them the Horn 12 victorious mixer presets. I mean, I use Synchron Brass already for a while, but I'm still amazed like if I got it yesterday. Now, the trombone section. What I really like here is the legato transition between the notes. It's like super realistic. I mean, come on. Whether you're a fan or a customer of VSL, or both, you can expect some high quality, but this just... Flutter-tongue articulation in trombone. If you need to write a villain theme, menacing, threatening. Oh, nasty, but so great. Bass trombone, even more growling in the low register, like... Oof. You hear that? The quality of the sound, the brassy color. Let's hear in the flutter-tongue, it's as efficient as the trombone. It's a bit too high. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's super great. Extremely precise repetition in every tempo. Ringing, cut, amazing. The Chimbasso is a cousin of the bass trombone, and this one also extremely menacing. Yeah. Some nasty low tones. Ooh, nice. And it breathes realism. Bass tuba, we are reaching here the very low pitches of the brass section. And usually for the bass tuba, the thing that you might not completely expect are clear, short notes. So let's hear here if the bass player of the Synchron orchestra is giving us right or wrong. Wham, wham, wham. It's still super clean in terms of attack. Wham, wham. I mean, tuba player cannot do more than that because you need to have enormous lungs to fill with air all the tubes of this enormous brass instrument. Wham. Yeah. Also, because of the nature of the instrument, sometimes we fear the sound, even for the legato, to be kinda muddy. Let's see if here it's the case. No. Super clean, super defined. A call out there for all my fellow composers around, please, let's write more bass tuba solos in our orchestra production because it completely deserves it. It is absolutely amazing, just because, as I said, I repeat, this brass instrument can be a bit muddy, but here, you still hear all the attacks and it's extremely clean. I mean, the sampling quality of this instrument is out of the top. Tenor trombones, 4 and 9 players. Again here, we are coming back to our beloved blockbuster feeling. Sounds super great. Let's play around with some presets at Stereo Ducatry, lush, sparkling, catchy fanfare. Ah, interesting. It brings out the middle range of the frequencies. It pays you back quasi instantly. I've worked with many orchestral libraries that needed more tweaking to achieve that type of sound, and here with VSL, it's super simple. The 9 players. Here, surprisingly, we don't have any legato articulations. I don't know why. VSL, why don't we have any legato articulations here for the 9 players? Anyway, I'm joking, okay? We are having the low troops of the brass section. Oh. This is so inspiring. Speechless. Now, the low brass, here we are talking. Here it's interesting because in the low brass section, you can actually choose the players that you want to use. For example, here you have 4 bass trombone and a tuba. Here you have the 5 players above plus the contrabass tuba. All these 6 players mentioned above playing clusters, and this is also extremely efficient if you are more into contemporary film music. Let's see what we got here. We have legato section here. Merci. And it works super well too. Let's use our bit of epicness for the for the fortissimo. Ah! What do we have here? Emperor Palpatine's arrival, what? Oh la 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 la. No, the 5 players before and the contrabass tuba, so more extra low pitches. Can you go lower? Oh, wow. Fortissimo? I mean, you're just blown away with this. Let's see the dynamics, what they can do. Here, they counted seconds. Okay, let's see what they got for slow crescendo. Of course, not to mention, but to every instrument you have a custom folder here that you can fill with the articulations that you want. Here, some of the clusters. So yeah, you can hear the E flat and the D with it, so it's like Piram, Re, Mi, Re, E flat D, C sharp C. Yeah, with the bold version, of course. And what do we got in the agile version? Yeah, shorter. Bum, bum. You can imagine so well a John Williams score with this. Works super well. Long notes, I assume that also works well. Oh! Very nice, also the dynamics. Wow. This kind of writing with tremolo strings just above, you have this menacing thread and color. Let's see here if they have clear, fast repetitions. It works perfectly. We have glissandos! Yay! So you can choose the interval here and the weight goes up or down. This is so inspiring. Here it's interesting, you can choose with the CC4 between regular playing and clusters. For example, if I would like to create a kind of a morphing sound of a regular, I will just take my CC4 here, and here I'm having my clean note, my C, and then and the crossfade is flawless. let's use it for with the Confortissimo, because this one you might have this extremely growling, menacing low brass sound. With a bit less of velocity here. We have also the legato option here. This is so modern, you can do just so many things with it. And last but not least, the entire brass section playing all together, the giant tutti brass, the 28 players. This kind of patch is extremely interesting when you're a keyboard player, when you're a pianist, and when, for example, you're in a rush and you would just like a massive wall of brass sound just like this already under your 10 fingers, and boy, here you won't be disappointed. For example, here it works very well. So, in conclusion, Synchron Brass has been a complete game changer, and you will be amazed by its versatility. You can just go for a classic sound like Mozart, Beethoven, to an enormous, heavily processed 20th century blockbuster sound. This instrument can just do everything. It's extremely rewarding just out of the box. There is a lot of options to customize your sound. You have a lot of freedom and of liberty to do what you want on this. Also, and it's more personal here, it is extremely inspiring. On some days where you have to work on a movie or on a music, and then when you're not extremely inspired, I'm thinking, but wait, you are using the Synchron instruments, and just that is inspiring. There is a tremendous amount of possibilities with this kind of instruments, and that's why after getting Synchron Brass, I got Synchron Strings Pro, I got Synchron Woodwinds, I got Synchron Strings Elite, I got Synchron Harp, I got the Great Rigo Organ, even before I had the Synchron Piano 274 that I am using every day as a piano teacher, as a composer. I hope, guys, that you liked this kind of general playthrough. I haven't been in the entire detail, but at least I hope that you got the grasp of it, that you got the enthusiasm that the Synchron instrument gives me. And I would like to say thank you, Dankeschön, vielen Dank to Vienna Symphony Library that is giving us composers the way of working and producing that we ever dreamt of. I couldn't be happier with the Synchron products, and I just hope that all of you guys will have a great and fun time around the Synchron instrument as much as I did. Thank you for watching, bye, and see you soon.